everyone, my name is Kay and I am Stitchy Pfeiffer here on YouTube and over on Instagram. This is my small corner of the internet where I discuss my cross-stitching journey and share my projects with you. If you're a new viewer, I hope that you find something you like, and if you're returning, thank you ever so much for coming back and spending some more time with me today. We may be interrupted periodically by my two cats who love to photobomb me whenever they get a chance when I'm on video. And Charlie's sitting at my feet at the moment looking for the opportunity to jump up on my lap, because that's just Charlie. Today is Thursday the 3rd of July 2025 and this is my WIP parade / update video, because I haven't filmed anything since November last year telling you what I'm been working on, other than the odd Stitch With Me video, which are stopping for the moment, but we'll go into that at the end once I've shown you all my projects. And here's Charlie, right on cue. Hello. Anyway, got a lot to go through today, but let's start with the stats for the past 7 months and 2 days. I have stitched for 160 out of a possible 188 stitching days. That doesn't mean that I didn't have a needle in my hand, however, as I have been working with a blackwork project that I've been trying to finish. Nearly finished, I'm on the outer frame now, and once that is completed I will show you. The project is a peppermint purple stitch along from, I think it's 2023. I have the 2024 one in my files and the 2025 one in my files. I also have the Steady Thread 2024 SAL with the frame 2/3 completed, ready to go. It's the one with the interlocking, not work type frame. Don't you dare jump up on there. You can sit there. Good boy. And that's the interlinked knotwork. That is in my stash to stitch as well. So I've got 3, at the end of this year I will have 3 blackwork cells that I can pick from to work on. I like to have them now and again just as a bit of a palette cleanser from the cross stitch, especially when I've been struggling with the cross stitch. To see my progress with them a little bit easier, because they're, they cover more area, shall we say, for all that I moan about doing back stitching. I actually quite enjoy doing black work. Right, anyway, I'm digressing. I have stitched a total of 158,773 stitches over a total of 20 projects. I brought 9 projects forward from last year, and I have started 11 since the 1st of January. My highest stitching month for the past 7 months was March, when I stitched 31,588 stitches, and the highest individual day was on the 29th of March, which was when I hit a whopping 2,289 stitches. I think, if I remember it was over 2 projects. My lowest stitching month, however, was June. I only managed to complete a meagre 22,616 stitches, but I have a reason for that. I was recovering after doing Monogamous May, when I stitched on one project and one project alone for the entire month of May. It's allowed me to discover that I don't like stitching monogamously. I get bored and I start to feel like it's a chore, and then my stitchy bug goes and doesn't want to come back. And it's only this month now, with the new project that I started for the 1st of July, that my stitching bug has come back and I actively want to sit and stitch. As I have 20 projects to show, this will take around about, hopefully, around about an hour. I also want to show you the 2 finishes that I had. One at the tail end of last year. I actually stitched the last stitch in it on 31st of December, and the other one I completed in January, and I'll show you them once I've shown you my projects. Unless otherwise stated, all my projects are stitched with CXC threads, and I stitch either on 25 count Evenweave or 18 count Aida, usually 1/1, but I have got a couple of projects where I'm stitching on 18 count with 2/1. I don't like it for full coverage, but I don't mind it for non-full coverage projects. So let's get started. Let's start off with my HAED cell. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that this picture, which is the completed once it's all done. It's not very easy to see because it is quite small, but that is the HAED cell. I'm doing the Van Gogh roses. First instalment was released on the 27th of December, which I started it on that date, but I stopped and restarted on the 29th. This was when I discovered I don't like... No, I can't say that it was when I discovered, it's when I decided that I definitely did not like stitching 2 strands on 18 count. That is that. This is the mock-up of the first and second instalments. The third instalment has been released, but I've not downloaded it yet. The reason being, I want to finish the second one first, so that it's an easier, straightforward, just marking off the pages and is done, instead of, you know, because there's been horror stories since the new update of some stitches not being marked off when you do your import progress. With it since the new update on pattern paper, so I'm wanting to finish it first. First instalment went really well. I was enjoying it. I was loving it. Second instalment, I did the first 2 pages, and then I decided to do the last 2 pages colour completion. I normally do diagonal and park. Very rarely do cross country, and if I do, it's usually within the diagonal because I can't go wrong. I don't know why I decided to do colour completion. Hello again. Because I hate it. It looks so messy, and it's... Judge for yourself. That is my work as it is at the moment. Colour completion in these 2 pages here. I'm not enjoying it. It's getting to be a bit of a chore to work on this project, and I think I've only worked on it 2 days in June. Not enjoying it at all. Do you want to stop headbutting me? No. Get down. I'll give you cuddles after. Go down. Charlie, do you want me to stop? You've had your food. You've had food. You've got water. Your litter tray's clean. You don't need anything else just now. You can get cuddles after. You do this every time I film something. You try and get in the way, don't you? Does anyone else have a cat like this? I think I'll call you Vader in a second. In fact, no, you're worse than Vader. Liz, I think Vader's met his match with Charlie, honestly. Anyway, let's get on to the next project, which is, if I can find it. Where does it went? Where'd it went? Yeah. The next project that I worked on, do you want to move? Because I can't see past your head. Thank you. You can sit there. Oh, no. View mock-up. Next one that I worked on is Freebie Harmony. Artwork is by Ching-Chou Kuik. Chart is by Heaven and Earth Designs. It is a freebie. It's retired. I have stitched on this so far. I have stitched, where are we? I started it on the 14th of April 2023. It is my first full coverage. It is my first counted cross stitch, first time stitching on Evenweave, first time stitching 1/1, first time parking, first time using the PDF on Pattern Keeper. Have I missed any firsts? I don't think so. First time using a scroll frame, which got to buy because I couldn't get it tight enough. And I use nerd troops, but we'll go into that now. We'll go into that at the end. This is the mock-up. There is another lady on Flosstube that is working on this. I think she's up. She's up at around about the head. I want to say the Sleepy Stitcher, but I might be wrong. If I can remember, I'll pop her name in the description box. But yeah. Do you want me to pause? Thank you. So that's that. This is where I am. I have stitched into my project tracker. Come on. Right. My computer has decided it's going to do daft things like take me to way down the bottom of the page, and I don't want to go way down the bottom of the page. Thank you very much. Right, Freebie Harmony. I have stitched 65%. I have done 102,146 stitches out of 156,000, and I have done, I'm starting on down here as well now. This is the next bit. I think I'm actually on the last pass across. I might be, or maybe I've got maybe one more. I think I can get it all into the large hoop though. And this is my focus for a finish for this year. I think that if I can't get it finished this year, I'll settle for 75%. But yeah. And that is 1/1 on 25 count. Next project is the Witching Hour Max Colour. Pardon me. Witching Hour Max Colour. I started this on the where are we? I started this on the, I've got the 5th of October 2023, but I could have sworn I started it before then. Anyway, this is artwork by Lisa Parker. It's the max colour version, and it's charted by HAED. Oops. And that is the mock-up. And I am working on the section at the eyes and the candle. And here is the chart. Oops, that's upside down. Oh dear. And there is where I am on it. As you can see, I'm working on the eye, and that's the start of the candle flame there. This is being worked on 25 count, 1/1. And I was doing 10 by 10. I was doing 10 stitch wide diagonals, but I've switched now to doing 20 stitch wide diagonals on it. Just because I think I've seen the progress a bit quicker, and I hope that's going to come out. There's a few lines coming in, but I think that's from when I was stitching in hand, doing the diagonal stitching in hand, and it's not, tension's not quite right, but hopefully it will sort itself out once it's done, because none of the other bits that I've done, my nudge, seems to have them. I have stitched on that 229,600 stitches in total. Of that I have stitched 103,734 stitches, and I'm at 45%. And now once I finish my harmony, that will become my focus for a finish. Next project I'm working on is Flying Scotsman. This is an Artecy project, artwork by Kevin Walsh. I'm stitching this on 18 count, 2/1 full cross. This is one of the reasons that I don't like doing 2/1 on the 18 count, because it is tight as anything. And that is the mock-up. I'm working on the centre now. I'm working across the middle row of stitches of pages. I think there's 3 rows of pages on this. And I am working on the train, wheels and the car. And this is my stitching. I definitely do not like 2/1 on 18 count. It is too thick. It is like a rug. Of that, at the moment I have stitched on that 28,021 stitches out of 60,000 overall, for 47%. Because this is another reason I don't like 18 count or 2/1. Because I work from a master set, all my threads are on floss drops for this project. Because it's obviously the longer length, and I use for 1/1. And yeah, but it's like a rat's nest. That's another reason I don't like stitching 2/1, because I don't like the length of the threads. So that's that. Do you want to leave things alone, Charlie? Do you want to leave things alone? Just be a good boy. Can you not like be like your brother Oscar and just go and find some place to lie down? Okay. Right, next project is a biggie. This is my biggest project. This is supersized matte colour, the Kitschy kitchen shelf. Artwork by Aimee Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is the mock-up. And I have completed about 8% on that. 58,791 stitches out of 263,000. I started this in October of 2023, and as I say, it's my biggest one. And I'll show you what I've done so far, and you're gonna laugh when you see how much I've actually done of this, because it is huge. I'm not gonna try and get it in one. I'm not even gonna attempt to get it in one. Just gonna show the whole lot all at once. But that is half of it that I've got done. And that is the other half that I've got done. So I've got the turquoise frame across the top completed, and I am working on the shadow bit underneath it. I do a session working across there because that's near enough the same colour all the way over, and then I'll do a session down amongst the confetti. When I say session, I mean my 1,000 or 2 days session, not one session per day. So if I've done, say this time round I worked on the bit along the top, the next time I'll work on one of the more confetti heavy areas, just to break it up a bit. I'm thinking about changing though, and starting to go with the colour flow, and trying to complete motifs, but it's just going to take me forever, and if I don't see any progress in it, it's going to be disheartening. Next project that I started, this is all from last year still, from carrying on from last year, is Celtic Dragon. Other than the HAED, these are all other than the HAED style, these are all coming from getting carried forward from last year. This is Celtic Dragon. And that's the mock-up. It's just by 2x2 cross stitch on Etsy. Laura that's stitching by the shore is doing this. I don't know if she's completed what she was going to do on it. I think she was just doing the dragon and possibly the moon. But I liked the frame, so I decided to do the frame. So that's what it looks like. There is a total on that of the overall project is 34,915 stitches. I have completed 5,277, which is about 15%. And as you can see, I've worked on the frame, and I've got a wee bit at the start of the moon coming in. It's the top of the moon coming in there. But this is on 18 count. It's just a cheap Aida. I don't like it that much, but it's okay for this. A wee bit rougher than Weigart. It's a wee bit firmer, but it's nice for stitching in hand. Oh, there's a needle. It's nice when you're stitching in hand. I keep finding needles, but yeah. It's nice when you're stitching in hand, but it's okay. It's not very good on the frame. It's hard to get into the nudge because it's that bit stiffer. But it's okay if you're stitching in hand. So that is that one. Next one that I brought into last year, is the one that I started on 30th of November last year for St Andrew's Day, and it is by Vivster on Etsy, and it is the Scotland Quaker Tiles one. That is the mock-up, and I have done, and this is my progress. I have switched the colour for the white. I can't remember what colour it was, but I have switched it to 02, which is the white tin. Holly, the cross stitch addict, did that with her Union Jack one. And I thought it was better because it showed up better. That's 2/1 on 18 count, but I'm doing that on antique white Aida. And I have stitched 792, sorry, my eyes are going crossed. Struggling to see that. Let's increase the size of that a wee bit. 782,000, there we go. 10,782, yeah. Out of 48,282. I was about to read out the wrong total. Not doing very well, am I? So that's that one. The next one I'm going to show you is called Autumn Waltz. This is by Carolyn. This is being stitched on a cream coloured Aida. That's a Weigart one. This is 2/1 on 18 count as well. And oh no, I don't want to actually see the pattern. I want to view mock up. Come on. Let's go. And that is the mock-up, and this is my progress. I'm just about finished that first quarter, so I am at 25%, give or take a few. And out of 23,856 stitches, I have completed 5,882. Well, that is that. It's a cream Aida. I don't know the colour, but it is a Weigart one. I think it's one of their Peacocks. I had it and I I had actually bought it for something else, and I wanted to start a new project, and I had this one sitting in my, you know, in my Google Drive. I thought, you know, I want to start something for autumn, so I started that. Where is this one? The next one. Right, now we're looking at the ones I started this year. They're slightly out of order. I don't know how I've managed to get these out of order because this one I started before the next one. The next one I started on the 1st of January, but this one I started on the 24th of February. I don't know how I've managed that. Maybe just ought to have written them down and to put into the software, into this spreadsheet. This is another one from 2x2 Cross Stitch on Artecy, and this is called Peacock and Rosé Sampler. If you can, I don't know if it's. There we go. Not a very good picture of the view of the mock-up. It's a wee bit glary. Sorry. My television's decided to come on. Put that out the way so it doesn't get knocked again. And that's my progress on it. I am using DMC 121. 1/1 on 18 count. I had been looking for something that would remind me of peacocks, and I couldn't find anything, so I ended up just going with 121, which I ordered from Threads for You. Which is that one. Hold on. That one. Oh, it's raining. There we go. So that's, I think it's about 6 skeins or 7 skeins of something I ordered, I needed. I mean, I looked at cottage garden threads and things like that, but everywhere that has cottage garden threads only had maybe 2 or 3 skeins, and I was needing 6. And I didn't want to wait very much longer. But anyway, the next one I'm going to show you, it started on the 1st of January. This is by Dona Gelsinger. It's charted by HAED, and it's the goal chart for 2,000 subscribers to the SAL, to the HAED SAL, and it's called Hummingbirds in Spring. Whoopsies. Come on, I got this before. How am I not getting it now? Hold on. Excuse me. Lights changed in here, I think, because it started raining. Oh, a minute. Oh. Is that better? Is that any better? The lights changed in here because it started raining, so of course everything that was showing before is now blowing out, and everything that was blowing out before is now showing. There we go. There's the Hummingbirds in Spring by Dona Gelsinger. There is 85,725 stitches in this. I have completed 4% of that. Sorry for the hanging threads, but I do like to part threads, so it's a, you know, one of those hazards that you know, when you pack your threads, you've got hanging ones. There we go, that is 4% or 3,604 stitches. I did start off doing the colour flow method that Gemma uses, but there's too many colour changes for me to keep a track of it easy, and I was getting confused and I was getting frustrated, so I'm switching it back to 20 stitch wide diagonals. The next one that I'm working on is, no, I've done that one, right there. That's not the right one, that's out of order. How's that out of order? So what I'm doing is my other Carolyn Manning piece, Carolyn Manning project. This is called Lilies of the Valley. I started this on the 10th of January. Pardon me. Well, it was supposed to start on the 10th of January, but it was actually the 17th and I started it because I had a delay with my fabric and my floss. Which was entirely my fault. I had sent the wrong measurements. It's part of a 3-pattern set, and I sent the measurements and the floss list for one of the smaller ones instead of the one I was actually working on. Now, this mock-up has gone in as like that. I think it's sideways on. I don't think it's the right way round, but that is it there. Lilies of the Valley was my mum's favourite flower, which is why I chose this one. I think it's part of the Granny Squares collection. That is my progress there. I'm marking down the sides. A lot of pale creams and beige, greens and blues in there, but it's lovely. When you see it in person, it's stitched, it's beautiful. I have a couple of other ones that I want to start that are similar. Different flowers, based on different flowers, so yeah. And I've got another Carolyn Manning in my stash to start, which is Garnet, which was my mother's birthstone. Plan on starting that next year for her birthday next year. No, I didn't give you my stats for that one. There is 29,404 stitches in total. I have stitched 29% or 8,458 for that one. My next one is my only dark X stitch chart so far that I started, and it is called Look to the Sky. That's it there. A beautiful polar bear with the northern lights. And dark X stitch charts are all free on our Facebook group. Put down. And yeah, free to download if you're a member of our Facebook group. And I started this on the 30th of January, and I have completed that much of it. As you can see, I'm in the stars and just starting to stitch on the aurora here. There is 275,625 stitches in total. I have stitched 1%, 1,562 stitches. This was before I decided to start doing 3,000 stitches for a start. So that has to come back out to get my 3,000 stitches. Everything that I've got is full coverage. If it's less than 3,000 stitches complete on it, has to come back out and get the 3,000 stitches, and then go back into the rotation. So that is going to be the next one. That'll probably get pulled out at some point. Next time it comes down to the rotation, I'll get kept out till it's done its 3,000 stitches before I move on. This one I think is in the same position, although it's only about 100 stitches shy of it. Next one is by Elizabeth Welker and is by her and the charting by Heaven and Earth Designs. It's called Pa and Nana. I love cardinals, but we don't get them in the UK. But I love them, and so when I saw that, I went and I immediately bought it. But anyone that knows me knows I normally do max colours. There is now a max colour version out, but I'm not going to give up on this one just to buy the max colour, and I don't see the point in buying the same pattern again. Just being a different number of colours. It's not. But I'd rather spend the money on something that I'm actually going to stitch on, if you know what I mean. Because then if I spent the money on this, then I'm not going to stitch on it, and I can't transfer it onto anyone. I can't give anyone else the pattern. So, what's the point? So I'll stick with this one. But every time I was stitching it, I'll be like, oh, I should have got the matte colour. But that is my progress on that. See that there? It's very light in this bottom corner. I'm actually stitched it way down to here on it. And this bit of fabric is huge. There is 422,500 stitches in total. I have stitched 1%, 2,908 stitches. As I say, that one will get next time out. Instead of getting 1,000 stitches, it'll get 1,100 stitches to get it to 3,000 over. Look to the sky, we'll get another. We'll get what to. We'll get 1,500 to get to 3,000 on the next one. Now we're doing the first of my long dog samplers. This was started this year. It is Taboo, and I started it on the 13th of March of this year. I'm doing it on 18 count antique white with 310. As I said, all my threads, unless I tell you otherwise, are CXC. This is what it's going to look like when it's done. And I have stitched 30%, which is 3,382 out of 11,174. And what I do is I work a little bit at the border, and then I will work the centre part diagonally because it is negative space. It's stitched in negative space. So yeah, because I don't want lines coming in. Kitty glitter. Speciality fibres. And all my projects are cat here, aka kitty glitter. Right, the next project that I'm working on, that I started this year, it's another big one. It's by Abraham Hunter, artwork by Abraham Hunter, charting by Artecy, and it is Dogwood Cottage. See, that light's changed again. The rain stopped. There we go. That's what it's going to look like when it's finished. I'm stuck up in this tree up in the top corner. I'm stuck up here in this tree, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll get there. Yeah. This is getting stitched in 20 stitch wide diagonals. 25 count, 1/1. There is 227,150 stitches. I have stitched 1%, or 3,078 stitches. So that will just get its 1,000 stitches when it comes out. That one. Next project is the one that I stitched for monogamous May, and discovered that I definitely do not like stitching monogamously because it totally obliterated my stitching bug. And progress was brilliant, don't get me wrong, progress was absolutely brilliant, and I did enjoy stitching on it to start with, but towards the end it was getting to be a bit of a chore, getting really a bit of a slog. And I take my hat off to those of you who can stitch monogamously on projects, because I just can't do it. This just bit, as I said, just bit killed my stitchy bug. And you've seen that in my stats. In June, I was lucky if I did 2,000 stitches a week, whereas I'm normally 4,000 or 5,000 stitches a week. So yeah, this is what it's going to look like when it's finished. It is an Artecy one. It's a freebie. It's in their Artecy, their Facebook group, Cottage Garden. A cottage garden in full bloom with a young girl by the gate or something. It's the wrong the full title. Charles something Strachan. I can't remember if it's Arthur Strachan. Is the artwork, and yeah, charted by him, by Artecy. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. This is what I've done on it. I'm just under halfway. I'm at 47% complete, having stitched 29,417 stitches out of 62,700. And this is on 18 count antique white Aida that I got as a grab bag type thing from Cross and Crafts when she was selling cut-offs, which happen every so often. And she does that, and I always try and grab at least a couple of pieces of antique white, because I like doing antique white for my long dog samplers. So if I've got various sizes available, they're ready to start, you know, I can just start, and then I just have to get my threads in. Because I stitched from a master set, you know, I just start from I just pick a colour, and whichever colour it is, I just order enough to do the project to replace it. Next project is 2 dancing peacocks, artwork by Oleg Gamirilov. I believe this is one of the pieces that go along with the one that Gemma Stitches is stitching on, with their Magnificent Garden, or Marvellous Garden. And this is 2 dancing peacocks. It's 2 peacocks dancing there, obviously. That tree in that top left corner is a biggie. It is huge. And I have only just started to get into the light bit. I started off doing it on diagonals, and I thought it's going to take forever, and so I tried to do a wee bit of colour flow, but it wasn't working for me. So I decided what I'm going to do is park right across and just work down the column, like work across, do that box, you know, complete my box, my 100 stitch boxes across, and just park the threads below. Yeah, so that's what I've done on that. I have done 1%, which is 6,546 stitches out of 486,500, and I started that on the 1st of June. And that is on 25 count, 1/1. The next one is the second of my long dogs that I've got going. going to have no more than 2. Got a couple on the wings waiting to start. So they should have started before this one, but when I saw it, I wanted to start this one for my birthday. This is Fisherman's Friends. It is a companion to Fish and Ships and Fisher King, or the Fisher King I should say, I believe. And yeah, and she said there's more coming. So I picked CXC 3766 as my colour for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the other ones in shades that tie in with this. I took my inspiration from a piece of Larimar, which is a semi-precious stone, which looks like the bottom of a swimming pool. And so that is why I picked that colour. And I can pull in different colours of turquoise and blue and for other projects to tie it all in. So that's that one. I'm working on the second page. I've completed the first page of that. I'm working on the second page. I have completed a total of 28%. And 4,767 stitches out of 16,819. But the thing to remember with that one is there's a little glitch on Pattern Keeper, and there is actually another row of stitches to be included, but because it's not shown on Pattern Keeper it can't be counted, so I'll have to work on PDF for the top row of the bottom row of pages. Last of all, you'll be glad that it's the last project. It's my first ever cross stitch studio chart, and it is called Rosie Santa. Isn't he gorgeous? And I started it on the 1st of July, so I've only stitched on it 2 days, and I started it for Christmas in July. Plus I didn't have any Christmas projects, so yeah, and I liked it. I'm not a cartoony type person, so you know, the fact that he's quite realistic looking, it just caught my eye, and I had seen it and I sort of had it on my wish list, and I was kind of keeping going back and looking at it, and then I said, you know what, I'm just going to start it. So I have started it, and I have done very pale creams and pinks. There's 5 colours in there in that whole section. Majority of it is 3756, and there's some 3766, the odd one of 3866, and then there is 3865, 819, 818, and I think about 3 stitches of 712. So it's all there. So yeah, and I'm parking, I'm doing 20 stitch wide diagonals. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it 20 stitch wide diagonals when I get to the centre, when I get to the centre. I might just go where the colours take me, I don't know. But that is that. I started that on the 1st of July, as I said. I have actually completed 0% according to my spreadsheet, but I know it is 0.47%, and it's 1,484 stitches out of 315,875. And I love it. It's taken a little bit. It took me a little while when I started it, because it's a different type of charting from HAED. They're charted. I mean, yes, it's PDF and it's charted, but it's, you know, different from there. But anyway, I promised you two finishes. I was going to show you as well, and I am going to show you them now. First one I'm going to show you is the one I finished on Hogmanay, 31st of December, and it's called Family Crazy Loud Love, and it's by Demented Stitchers on Etsy. And that should not have taken me 18 months to do, but it did. I got fed up. I started off great guns, got family and a little bit done, and then I got stuck. And then so I just battled through and I completed that. As I say, on Hogmanay. I didn't want to start when you start, you see. Is that the one I want? That's the one I want. And the other one is one that I finished in January. And this is called One Night Stand, and it's another long dog sampler. It's a Piccadillo. It's number one on 18 count, and it is that cheap 18 count Aida that I don't like very much, but I'm just using it up. And it is colours 826. So that is my two finishes. Plans. Going forward, I'm going to try and get back into my rotation. My rotation is 2 days per project or 1,000 stitches, whichever comes first. If I hit 1,000 stitches, the remainder of the stitching time will be done on my project, which is a focus for a finish, which is Freebie Harmony. And hoping to get it finished, if not at least 75% done for the end of the year. Got to try and get back into my rotation, but I am going to get my newest project up to 3,000 stitches before I switch it. And what I'll do is I'll switch it for the HAED cell, do 1,000 stitches or 2 days on that, then switch back to Freebie Harmony for 1,000 stitches so it gets its place in the rotation, then back to the HAED cell. And you know, you get the idea, back and forward between the rotation and the HAED cell, till I'm up to date with the HAED cell, hopefully. Is there anything else that Stitch With Me videos? I said that they were on hiatus at the moment because this is what I use over the top of my stitching, but my phone is too heavy for it, and it actually droops down and it moves and it wobbles. This bit clamps onto my light bar, which it should be stable, but with the weight of the phone it makes it bendy and it makes it, you know, it wobbles. So I'm on the lookout for a new phone clamp which can connect onto my light bar. I've seen one on Amazon which has a similar type of clamp to what my light did, but my light has got the bit you can pull out and it can actually fit in and you can screw it into the light bar. I'm going to have to get, I think, another screw nut, you know, the screw for the light bar. I know I can get them from Lowry. It's only a couple of pennies, you know, a couple of pounds. So I'm going to order another one of them. And hopefully this light can come out like that. If not, it can clamp onto the light bar. Don't know when I'm going to order that. Probably not be till next month though. So they're sitting on hiatus for this month, and then I will try and get back into them, and hopefully the new one is this clamp also. If it went any further than halfway across my stitching area, I was struggling because it was getting in the way. So hopefully if I get this new one, it'll be like my lamp, because it's on the elbow, you know, on the hinged elbow. I'll be able to go further and not be weighed down as much. So that's the plan for Stitch With Me's. Feeling that it will be back to stitching in hand on Stitch With Me's, which we all remember those days when I was between frames, between stands, and trying to stitch in hand, trying to film, and couldn't stay in the frame and all that sort of thing. So we don't want to go back to that. But hopefully going forward we will be able to get Stitch With Me's and get back into a regular, at least once a week, Stitch With Me video. I'd like to do one a week. I'd like to do what Dizzy Stitcher does and have his, and who has his updates on a Saturday and his Stitch With Me's on a Wednesday. I like that. I like doing so. I would like to do something like that. I'd also like, if I can get my Stitch With Me's to work at some point, I'd like to eventually do some live again. with the frames and you know what have you, and get some interaction with you guys, because it's quite lonely. I wouldn't say I'm housebound, but I'm getting towards that. I don't go out at all much. I don't, you know, so I don't see many people other than my neighbour, and other than my neighbours, I don't really see anyone. So it's quite isolating, and cross stitch is it can be quite an isolating hobby because you're just yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy my own company, but I would like to see people from time to time. And so the plan, once I get the Stitch With Me sort of established, and that is to maybe have a couple of live streams, different times during the day, see what the feedback is to what sort of time suits people. And my plan also going forward is to still continue to keep starting new projects. Don't want to go too much above 25. I'm at 18, 19 including my hairstyle. So I've got another 6. So there's only like 5 months left of the year. So I've got one that I'm definitely starting in December. Sorry, not December, the end of November. For St Andrew's Day this year, I'm going to be starting either Celtic Thistle or Celtic Unicorn. I think it's going to be Celtic Thistle, by Malcolm Watson, charted by HAED. And then I'm going to do Celtic Unicorn next year. The plan is to have them either side of the Scottish Quaker flag on the wall. The other probable new start is going to be Teddy Bear Max Colour, Supersized Max Colour by Dona, Gelsinger and HAED. December start, probably around about Christmas Day, or Christmas new start. And then the HAED sale next year, I'm going to wait and see what the designs look like. At the moment, I'm thinking no, I'm not going to do it because I'm hopefully going to finish the 6 pages and get all the other 11 charts, which will give me plenty of choices. There's so many of them that I want to start. So there's that. Plus, if I do complete, if I do feel the ace out the bag and complete the full design, the full project for the end of December next year, I'll get a free chart so I can pick, another chart, and what I'll probably do is pick one and it'll be my new start or something. There's quite a couple of new ones that have come out that I quite like the look of. I'm not buying. I'm purposely not buying anything at the moment, unless it really screams at me that I want to start it. I bought a couple of cottage charts that I liked. I seem to be getting drawn more towards sort of like that type of thing at the moment. I don't do cartoons. I don't do cartoony type people. So I don't do like the Hannah Lynns and things like that. They don't do anything for me. I like animals. I don't really know. I do like doing people. I like realistic people. I like animals. Again, I'm not keen on cartoony type animals, but I do like realistic animals. And I do apologise for the banging. That's my upstairs neighbour's daughter jumping about. So that's the plan going forward anyway, certainly, is to keep going with the rotation, to try and get my new phone clamp so I can get my Stitch With Me's done again, and I'll be hopefully doing one of these, doing an update every week, or at least every other week. If I'm doing my 1,000 stitches rotation, what I'll do is, if I hit the 1,000 stitches, the rest of that day I will do my focus and a finish, and I'll be starting my next project a day earlier, if you know what I mean. Than I would be if I'd been the 2-day rotation. I have got 6 of these nod shoots. So the plan is, I will have my monthly new starts on one, my head styles on another. I will have one of my long dogs on. I'll pick one of them a month to work on. No, that's not going to work. Hold on. I will put, like, I've got my monthly new start, my focus and a finish, my head style. So that's 2 of them. And then the other 3 will have, like, so it will have like 2, 3, 4, like places 2, 3, 4 on rotation. I'll just do it that way, I think. Looking at maybe, I'm saying maybe no more than 5. Right, 1, 2, 3. Alright, hold on. That's not going to work, hold on. Scratch what I said about the new start, about the focus on a finish. I think I'm going to change that and do it day about focus on a finish new project. Yeah, because if I'm going to start a new project on the 1st of every month, I don't know what I'm starting the 1st of August. Oh. I'll need to have a think about that. Yeah. I think what I'll do is, if I'm starting a new project on the 1st every month, at least until December, what I'll do is alternate between focus on a finish and my new project for the extra time, stitchy time. Because I'm a stitch. I've got such noisy neighbours. Oh, seriously. I want to swap houses with me so I can get some peace and quiet. I'm sure she does it on purpose. I'm sure she does. No, lost my train of thought. Yeah, alternate days. When I finish my stitching, if I get my 1,000 stitches in a day, I'll do the remainder of the time on either my full coverage, not my full coverage, my focus and finish, or my new start for the month, whichever month it is. I'm going to stop trying to do more than one new start in a month. All the time. That'll be kind of difference is the one that I start on St Andrew's Day is the 30th of November, which is the last day of the month. That'll be my 1st of December new start. The one on the 25th of December for Christmas will be, which is, I'm looking at Teddy Bear Tree Super Size Max Colour. That will be 1st of January unless I join the HAED sale, and then the HAED sale will be the 1st of January one. Yeah. I'm going to have to write this down or else, otherwise I'm going to get lost. But, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, guys, after me moaning about my upstairs neighbour, I am going to say to you to treat others as you would wish to be treated yourself. And a smile costs nothing, and but it can mean the world to someone. You know, if you yeah, because you never know what someone's going through their life. They may have noisy upstairs neighbours like me, Yeah, you never know what someone else is going through in their life, and it costs nothing to give them a smile and a kind word, and treat them as you wish to be treated yourself. You know, if you want kindness, you treat everyone with kindness. Yeah. What was I going to say? Is there anything else? I just realised I got three pink ones. How did I manage that? Yeah, they're the same colour of pink as well. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's that. And as regards progress, yes, I have managed 178,000 odd stitches for over 7 months. But as you've seen from my stitching totals for the months, there at the beginning of the month, there's a big difference between my March totals, which were hold on a second while I get back up to the top. Why didn't I go up? Come on. Oh, come on. You gonna... Yeah, you can bleep at me all you want when I'm finished, but I want you to actually scroll up the page. Oh, for goodness sake. My laptop's decided it's frozen. Oh, there we go. Right. Oh. Come on. Oh. Right, we'll go into the summary. That'll be easier. Right, go in the summary then. Excuse me, right, there we go. Yeah, there is a big difference between hitting 31,588 in March and only managing 616 in June. That's a 1,000 stitch drop, a 10,000 stitch drop. How did I manage that? Bearing in mind, I missed 2 or 6, 2, 4, 5. I missed 7 days. I missed a week's worth of stitching in June. But I didn't really, because I did some black work. So I didn't really miss stitching, but I've not figured out how to count black work stitches and you know, on how to stitch, on how to count them for paper patterns. I've not worked that bit out yet, how to log them. So something else I'm going to play around with when I start my new black work is how I'm going to log my stitches. I don't like seeing big empty spaces, and I've got a gap there for 4 days. But I didn't, according to this, I didn't stitch, but I did. I know I did because I stitched on, but I did the black work, so I know I stitched. But I'm not able to log it because I didn't know how to log it. But anyway, yeah, going forward, guys, be kind. And even if you only manage 1 stitch, it's still progress. There we go. And I'll speak to you guys later. Speak to you guys hopefully next Saturday, a week on Saturday, which will be the what's this? This is the 3rd, tomorrow's the 4th, the 11th, Saturday the 12th. Does that sound about right? I'll speak to you then. Bye.